and welcome back to Date with the Divas. Thank you for clicking on our video, and I hope that you will enjoy this video and many, many more. So, since you will be enjoying these videos, please click on that subscribe button. And remember to like our videos and hit on that notification bell so that you get notification of our latest and greatest videos. Come on, Entourage, grab your beverage of choice. Miss Antrice is about to hit us down with some tea. Antrice?
Well, the streets are flooded with piping hot tea this week. So I hope you got your popcorn ready, divas, along with your cocktails. The first story is about our girl, Keke Palmer, who seems to be having relationship problems once again. You guys may remember that Keke and her boyfriend made the news when she went to that Usher concert, and her boyfriend didn't like the way she was dressed. She was a new mom, and he tried to humiliate her publicly on Twitter by criticizing her outfit. And Keke came out and basically said she didn't, wasn't bothered and she was going to do her thing. And a lot of people expected them to break up after that, but it seemed as though they didn't. And now we're hearing that there's been a lot more going on in Keke's household. Last Thursday, she filed a complaint asking for a restraining order against Darius that included sole custody of their son, because she felt she and her son were both in danger of their lives from Darius. And then in this report, she talked a lot about all the abuse that she's been subjected to by Darius, physical, verbal, mental, and that some of that abuse was now being directed towards her son. He had made weird threats about, or not threats, but comments about he understood why animals in the wild eat their young, male animals in the wild eat their young, and he was getting a little rough with their son and in a way that was making her feel uncomfortable. She even supplied some camera footage from her home, from her security cameras, to show that that's an altercation that took place in February, where he was upset about a bikini photo she was about to share on Instagram, and to show her progress for getting back in shape after having the baby. And the fight went on. He was standing at the bottom of the stairs waiting for her to come down. And when she got to the bottom of the stairs, he attacked her. And so this was the video footage that she submitted in court. She was granted her temporary restraining order, and he does not have any right to see the child until they go to court December 5th, to where he can then plead his case. Well, Darius has come out and denied all of these allegations. His brother, who I think is an actor on Insecure, I don't know if any of you guys know him.
Here, let me show you his photo.
Darius, is that how you say his name? Darius Jackson?
Oh, yeah. He was on, yeah.
Well, this is Darius's brother, older brother. I guess he's the one who introduced Keke. He came out with some weird tweet about someone in his life being more abusive than anyone he'd ever met. It was a real cryptic tweet.
Yeah, and this is it right here, yeah.
It's the most disgusting, vile, abusive, manipulative person I have ever encountered in my entire life. Abuses almost everyone. Y'all will see. Just send positive energy to the babies. Any child in the middle of something like this does not deserve it at all. Wow. So damn sad. Now, it's kind of unclear who he's talking about, whether he's talking about his brother or he's talking about Keke. But the mom felt he was talking about Keke, because Keke's mom, Sharon, came out and said, you know that your brother is an abuser and he's been doing this for years. She did a whole video calling him out, that you're perfectly aware, because I made you aware a year ago of what your brother was doing to my child. So then they started going back and forth. Keke's mom and the I won't call him brother-in-law because nobody's married, but Keke's mom and the brother. So in Darius's defense of himself, he released some text messages where Keke's mom threatened to put a bullet through his head. Well, this this was the day of the final incident, the Sunday before she filed the restraining order. He came over wanting to take the son to a football game. It was unannounced. The son wasn't there. When he got there, he and Keke got into one of their fights. Now, she says she's already broken up with him. She says after they broke up, his behavior got worse. It didn't get better. His behavior got more violent and scarier. So Sunday, while they were fighting, she was on the phone with her mother, and the mother heard what was happening. And that's when the mother threatened to put a bullet through his head. His mother got involved. He's released text messages between his mother and Keke's mother. Okay, so this is his mom in the gray. Hello, Sharon. How are you? I have tried not to get involved in my son's personal business, but I heard that you were going to put a bullet in my son's head. Well, then now we have to involve the authorities because you don't respect or value yourself. And I can see know my son's life. I guess she means nor my son's life. You might have to kill all of us. I will file a police report on you. So Sharon's mother's reply, Keke's mother, Sharon's reply was, please do not contact me with this ridiculous childish behavior. Your son choked his own sister. Deal with his anger issues. If he attacks my daughter in her own, I would imagine she means home, where she pays the bills, he is trespassing and anything can happen, so he should stay away. You should be very ashamed to have raised a man who fights women. Well, Divas, what do we think? Are we surprised, first of all, that this has been going on in Keke Palmer's life, that she's been putting up with this nonsense? A woman in her position. Were you surprised when you heard this story?
Yeah, I agree with you, Alicia. I was surprised too. I didn't realize. Okay, full disclosure, I really didn't think it was gonna go to what is it, to the finish line, this relationship. But that's just me. Sorry, but I did not realize that it was so volatile. That's sad. That's bad. You have a brand new child. Like, yeah, that's
This
bad.
We're surprised, one, that she was dating someone in his position. He's a personal trainer and a struggling actor. So it was very obvious that financially,
the inequity.
There was an inequity. And so some people thought that was questionable. I remember she was on Steve Harvey's show and he was trying to talk to her about getting a man on her level. And she came back with, it's for me, it's love, and da 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 da. And Steve was like,
did the bus driver route. Look, y'all.
Or she did the whole Tyler Perry advice. You see where that got you? See where that got you, girl.
To find out that she's not only dealing with a man who's not at her level, but then the man is abusing her on top of that. It just seems crazy to me that she would have even been putting up with this for a day.
And this goes to show a couple of things. That number one, she's human, and she is not immune to the daily struggles of billions of women across the world, all over the world, and that, and I feel sorry for her. Well, no, I don't want to say I feel sorry for her. I commend her for getting out of it. I will say that. I commend her for, having the strength to pull herself out of it. But this is a prime example of the fact that no one is immune to domestic violence.
So true. So true. I'm not surprised that she dated someone of his caliber, because I always knew she was open to men on different, whatever levels, you know what I mean? And I get her point, because she always knew, like, hey, I was lucky enough to grow up as a child actor. No one's going to be that type of level, not that many people, you know what I mean? So I get where she's coming from with that. You do have to be open-minded, that sort of stuff. But I am very surprised, though, because I don't know if you guys know as well, like, he's always on her podcast. They work together too. Like she has her own production company, and he's working for her on her production company, acting on there as well. So they're very almost around each other every single day, used to be. So that's why I was surprised, like, oh, wow,
It seemed like they said, over a year at least. So,
yeah,
I mean, this is a long time. It didn't seem like it came out of the blue.
Right.
This has been going on for a hot minute. So that's interesting. And go ahead. Sorry, Nicole.
How long were they together before she had the child or got pregnant?
Like a year, because
I think a year.
they've been together 2 years.
Exactly. And it goes to show again, like her mom clearly knew what was going on. But again, it takes for the person, I think it takes the average roughly about 10 times of back and forth before they actually exit out of a domestic violence situation. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not surprised. Like, I am surprised that this is the situation that she was in, but I'm not surprised that it was something that was ongoing and that her mother knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
so
a typical scenario, basically, is what you're
Do
saying.
you think
basically,
that his mother knew?
yes.
Yes.
You don't even have to finish it. Yes.
She knew
Yes.
who her son was, even if she didn't know specifically what he
Exactly.
She knows
Exactly.
who her son is.
So you,
Exactly.
his mother knew what he was doing to Keke.
I don't know about that, but
I
I
don't. I
know.
wouldn't say. Sorry. I'm sorry, Nicole. I'll
No,
let you.
no, go ahead. That's exactly what I'm going to say.
I believe that if she did not know exactly what was occurring, there were not only signs, but there were incidents. And sometimes, and I'll say it goes for mothers all over the place, when you do not want to accept that of your child, you either put a blind eye or you find excuses, or like, you know, something is wrong. And it could be, you know, what do they say? There's his side, her side, and the truth. So when he's coming with his side, you as an individual are thinking about it and be like, you in your mind know what your child is about, and you be like, this don't add up.
And she even said in that message or phone call, I forget which one it was,
Yeah.
I try not to get in my son's business. So she just wasn't going to do or say anything.
And that's exactly it. And that's what's a word? I want to say part of an excuse of, you know, just having a blind eye where I don't see it, so I don't know that it exists, and you can't say that I knew, but you know good and well you did know.
Right. As Kiki's mom was saying, his brother is the same way about, you know, according to her, that they both acted the same way. And then Amanda Seals, who was also on Insecure show as well, who worked with the brother, she's already said some stuff about him before, about how his behavior was on set. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. And then when this stuff came out, she was like, see, I told you, was her like Instagram sort of response.
What did Amanda Steele say about him?
Just that how his behavior was, and I think I'll have to look it up. Hold on, so come back to me.
I'd be interested to know.
But
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was also going to say too is this also shows, I mean, we know this already, but it also shows too is she hit it well, because you know her social media is going on, she's everything's so hunky-dory, I'm having a baby, blah 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 blah, but a year is going on and this is happening in your backstory, you know.
But that's what
I think. If you're close to your son, he's the apple of your eye, he's your baby boy, and he gets into a fight with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend tells one story and your son tells another story. Who does a mother believe in a situation like
It doesn't matter what the story is. He hit her. That had to be obvious. And I'm not. I always say the fault of Black mothers is it's always my son, right or wrong. Well, my son knows that I'm not one of those mothers. Don't come trying to hide at my house when you do something, because I'll already be on 911. He's right here.
No, but it's true. As like you, regardless,
right is right and wrong is wrong.
Right.
And that's all it. I have known several people who their sons have acted, you know, out of pocket. And what has happened is both mothers and fathers, sometimes the mothers and the fathers are on opposite ends of what is to be done. But sometimes I have seen mothers who are like, listen, he's wrong and he shouldn't be XYZ. And then you have the mothers that are like, but she shouldn't have got him out of pocket. Her mouth is just loose.
Yeah.
Well, okay. You know, a couple months ago, I think we covered that story where she was at that Usher concert, right? And his reaction. You could tell from his reaction and what he posted that he has certain
Issues.
Expectations and issues.
expectations of roles and how people are to behave. And so it doesn't surprise me that because she strikes me as someone who is very strong-willed, and she will do whatever she wants to do, right? And when you have a gentleman who has sort of these gender roles,
narcissistic
well, you know,
tendencies.
they have ideas of what the male role should be and what the female role should be, or what the mother role should be. It could be that he found her quite threatening or emasculating, and this is his way of
controlling
her. Yes. And because the older brother has similar behavioral issues, I think it stems from parenting.
I disagree but agree with you that sometimes people are a product of what they see, you know, of their environment and what they see. But sometimes people have this innate just issue that has nothing to do with parenting. Sometimes it's just within their spirit, you know, and there may have been something that they may have witnessed that has caused them to be that way, but I wouldn't 100%. Now, I do believe parenting does have, you know, a contribution to that, but I wouldn't totally blame it. And I say that because I have seen where the parent is just like, I'm like, where did that come from? And sometimes it has something to do, sometimes it's just something that's innate inside of that person.
Can it's innate when it's both boys?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's
well, so can we say what's them two brothers that murdered their parents?
Melendez brothers.
So something was wrong with the parents?
Yeah.
Just evil.
But
what
I'm trying to say is, I think the way they were raised, the mother may have been in an abusive situation also. Maybe their father treated their mother like that. Maybe she was.
I get you. Sometimes I do believe that, but sometimes people is just cray cray.
Okay, so let me just correct myself then. It's not parenting. I definitely believe that it's learned behavior.
Okay. And I agree with you. I agree with you. I believe that when things like this happen, it is something that they have witnessed, you know, in order for them to it, even though the parents may not be the quote unquote blame, if that's the way I'm saying it. So let's say, I'll give an example. Oh, a mother has been abused. He's seen it, but the mother got out of it and the child has never seen it. But that exposure, that one-time exposure may have traumatized that child for that child to be that way. But I agree with you.
Because isn't that a similar situation? Or I could be wrong. You guys maybe could correct me, or, you know, Entourage, you correct me. That's that situation with Chris Brown. Was his mother abused? Was it that way?
Yeah.
That would explain a lot.
I think that's what I do remember those rumors going around saying that.
Right. So maybe we don't know if it's true. Right. Exactly. Allegedly. But I think that's that same kind of scenario where, you know, that you see it and then, you know, you become maybe a little aggressive.
But then again, too, though, people see violence all the time on TV shows and games and this and that. So
I don't think it's seeing it. But I read in all my courses, and we were taught that's usually people that abuse almost come from an abused family. They've been abused, or they were raised in an abusive family where their father was like that, or their men in their lives were like that to their mothers.
Right. So then that's visual.
Pardon?
So then that part is visual. You saw it. It didn't happen to you, but you saw it.
Well, you don't even have to say it. You just have to know you're living in it, because some people are actually good enough to try to hide it from their kids, not because they care about the kid, but the man doesn't want to be blamed or be seen in that light.
Right.
And even if they don't see the dad hit the mom, there's still emotional abuse that the kids can see and witness on that part.
And okay, that's what I was going to say. It may not necessarily be seeing the actual, and sometimes there may not be physical abuse. That child who has now taken that, that incident, that emotional and, that emotional abuse, has taken that to the next level. And now that emotional abuse that they're inflict upon somebody else has now become physical. Because I've seen instances where the child doesn't have, again, there is no physical abuse, it's just that emotional abuse, and they take it to the next level.
Well, I think we should all agree that Keke should be commended for having the courage to come out with her story, because I'm sure it's helping a lot of young women who are in a situation to see her stand up for herself. And I hope she has her day in court and that things go her way for her best interest and the best interest of her child. I'm sure I speak for all the divas when I say that, but
most definitely, and shows that she's human, that she is definitely human.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to move on, because this is we need to like raise this up. We need to find some laughter. I need to.
I don't know if you're gonna laugh on the next story.
We can laugh at some foolishness though.
Divas, there's some breaking news. I just happened to be looking at my phone. Sorry, I was multitasking. I apologize. The Shade Room just said court documents show Darius Jackson's mother filed a domestic violence restraining order against Darius' dad in 2020, and they got the actual court case pictures of it. Learned behavior.
Okay.
Yeah, so and 2020 is pretty recent. So that means even his mom has stayed in an abusive relationship long term then.
And so that, exactly. So,
go, Mr. Cole, go ahead.
So her being able to hide behind it is a clear representation of how the cycle of domestic violence, how it perpetuates.
Yep.
So we said learned behavior. You guys.
What's crazy, Lava, is she was in Keke's very situation, and she's out there defending what her son.
That's what you do.
Not unusual.
Well, of course, she's defending.
Not
she's
unusual
the husband.
at all.
Yeah, as long as she's left the husband. So to her, she tolerates it.
And this is the hiding, and but this is like I said, it's not unusual. This is what's been done for ages. It's sad.
Most definitely. So at least there is a clear explanation as to why both brothers
are this way. Hopefully the cycle is now broken with Keke's son, because their mom is not.
But then, so now the next thing is, as again, society has this thing of you put into two different bubbles. Okay, you have this, Black male who has been exhibiting this, domestic, this violence or whatever the case may have you. Then you have society not wanting to prosecute a Black man. But then now we need to think of and be concerned about the fact of, okay, so what happens next for this particular person and the treatment that needs to occur for this particular person.
Hopefully, I don't know what society you live in to where they don't want to prosecute a Black man. That's a lie. But anyway,
no, that is not a lie. Straight up, that is not a lie. People will prefer not to put people will prefer not to put a Black man in jail just for GP. Straight up, just for G. Will find excuses because there are too many Black men in jail, and why are we putting away another Black man in jail and prevent him from being great after he's committed a crime? But okay,
she's talking about women.
Well, I don't.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Society,
he's pressing the whole. I don't think she's pressing any charges against him. I think she just wants him away.
Okay.
What I imagine will happen is that there's a custody arrangement. It will require him to go through some counseling and parenting and
family violence intervention program, FVIP.
So hopefully this does break the cycle. Hopefully.
Right. And I want to show you what his mom looks like. She has shared earlier, just so you can meet her. So yeah.
So you can meet her. Well, hello, Mom.
That's not what I was expecting.
Wow.
Hey.
Why are you laughing at me?
Why don't you show us that picture?
That was only like you. First of all, you requested it. Don't pretend like it was on your long list of 20 picture requests. Okay,
you're very late with it. Okay, it was late and in left field.
So you could meet her.
I was getting it in one way or another. Okay.
All right.
Okay, that was the laugh I needed. On that note,
got your laugh, Lava.
I did. I asked for it, and I ask and you shall receive.
But Entourage, drop that in the comments and let us know. Do you believe Darius or do you believe Keke? And do you feel that the moms are overstepping their boundaries in this situation, or are they playing their roles as they should do?
Kiki's mother is.
Whose mom?
Sorry. Kiki's mother is playing her role.
He's playing Mama Bear.
Bullet in people's heads, I guess she is.
I wouldn't birth no babies for no man to try to hurt my baby.
Right. I was just going to say, so does that mean, Nicole, you think she's overreacting or she's acting appropriate? What do you think?
No, she's acting appropriate. Let somebody
Okay.
take their hands on your child.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the least that she could have said to him.
Right.
And I can't help it. Isn't it illegal in California to tape without getting the person's permission?
Yep,
Because
that was
it was
also
a
stated
phone
in an
call.
article.
It was a phone call because I heard the tape.
Final vote by 25
Moving on.
I think we read. But that bleeds us into the next story, whether it's legal to tape someone without their knowledge. R. Kelly, you may have heard, is back in the news again. The sources for my last story were TMZ.com. The sources for this story is Billboard.com and the Daily Mail. So R. Kelly is suing the Federal Bureau of Prisons over allegations that the agency leaked private information about the disgraced singer to social media personality Tasha K. Now, many of you know Tasha K. She's a fellow YouTuber who does salacious interviews, and she loves to be the first to break the scandalous tea. Well, in a complaint filed Monday in Chicago federal court, Kelly's lawyers say an unnamed Bureau of Prisons agent illegally accessed Kelly's digital prison records, including recordings of his conversations with his girlfriends, with his family, with his lawyers, and then sold them to Tasha K, who then published these reportings for her 1 million followers. So this is directly from his lawyer, Jennifer Bogine. She writes, the defendant, the United States of America, breached its duty of care to the plaintiff when it allowed countless BOP officers to access plaintiff's confidential information without any legal basis to do so. So the lawsuit, which also names Tasha K as a defendant, so the BOP is a defendant and Tasha K is a defendant, claims that the influencer then, quote, rallied her massive following to harass the plaintiff with the use of the stolen information and created chaos in the plaintiff's personal life. Now, I think the chaos.
He got his life is our.
Yeah, I believe there was always some chaos.
Come on now, you done molested. Let me stop. Okay,
so for those of you who don't know, who've been under a rock, Kelly was convicted in 2021 on racketeering and sex trafficking. Those were federal charges. In September of 2022, he was convicted in Chicago on separate charges of child pornography and enticement of minors to sex. The singer is currently serving a 30-year prison sentence that he is appealing. Okay, so basically Tasha K has been in cahoots with a BOP officer, allegedly, and he's been taping conversations. He hacked the computer that had a lot of R. Kelly's personal information, and then sold or released the information to Tasha K. In this new lawsuit, Kelly claims that Tasha first published private information in November of 2019, starting with a video called R. Kelly Can't Control His Girlfriends While Behind Bars. That contained information she said came from a phone tap somewhere. That's what she said in her video. Later posts allegedly divulged more personal information, including highly sensitive communications with his legal team. So the communications related to personal and family problems, romantic interests, health problems, literacy issues, and issues related to the defense of his pending criminal cases. Now, the lawsuit alleges that there was an investigation by the Bureau, and that the officer was dealt with, but the officer was never named, and R. Kelly and his attorneys never found out what happened to the officer, but that more information continued to come out even after they were made aware that this was happening. No charges, this is a quote from the lawsuit, were brought against defendant BOP Officer A, and the government has refused to reveal any details about the investigation, including the identity of the officer. In short, there has been a cover-up of the rampant BOP misconduct that is ongoing. Okay, so.
So much to dive into.
Bye. He needs to sit his child molesting ass someplace and shut the F up. Okay.
Well, he's trying, even though he is a molester, he was convicted as a molester.
Call him one because he was convicted twice.
Yes.
Right. So
Exactly.
he
Human trafficker,
was
child
convicted
molester,
as one. He
enticing
still
a minor.
has rights.
Does he?
No
That's
mo.
the question. If you're sitting in prison for raping
Okay.
kids, do you have a right to privacy?
Come on,
Okay.
Michelle. Come on now.
Your
Now,
reputation is just already just.
I read the complaint, all 26 pages.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So
Here.
the interesting thing that hasn't come out in that summary article, or maybe it did and I just wasn't paying attention. The invasion of privacy and the conversion of his personal information occurred before he was convicted.
It doesn't
So
make
if
any
you
sense.
believe in the in the premise innocent until proven guilty. Now I get he is a vile person, and you know, but to Joe's point, he still has rights, right? And so if he's presumed to be innocent, right, he still does have a right to privacy, especially with regards to conversations with his attorneys and
Yep.
his legal team.
Okay.
Okay, so reading the complaint, I know that the BOP or Bureau of Prisoners Officer A is a female, because in the complaint they refer to her as she. In the complaint, it is alleged that it was acknowledged that she and Tasha K, they did, she sold this information to Tasha. Tasha then published it for the purposes of stopping the quote enablers of R. Kelly. Because among the information that was published was information and amount of a trust account that was at best being funded by his supporters, which was then ultimately or subsequently seized by the government. And now there is an appellate case because they feel that that confiscation or that seizure of that trust account was unlawful. Anyway, it's a big, huge mess. But you do have a right to privacy, and the government does have the duty to protect your private information
Well, it sounds like they
from
had
the
an
public.
issue with the person who did it. It wasn't a whole conspiracy of 50 people doing it. It was that one person.
No, it was that was A, and then there are unnamed Doe officers up to 60 who were accessing this database that the BOP kept. And I guess during COVID, a lot of things were being recorded by Zoom, and so it was unclear as to why his conversations with his attorneys were being recorded. But I mean, the whole thing was pretty juicy. Like, it talked about how his girlfriends, I guess, when they found out about each other, like fought, like fist fight kind of thing. So
And the stories were good. They were salacious. And my question is, does Tasha K have a responsibility to protect his privacy? If she's being given this information about things that are going on, she's basically like a reporter.
But
Tasha K's been
Did she
having her
pay
hand
for it
dipped in the
illegally
cookie
though?
jar.
yeah,
it doesn't exclude the fact that
Yeah, didn't she pay for it illegally?
Well, there's no proof that she paid for anything.
but that's
she's in some hot water with some other stories.
So my question is, does Tasha K, whose job it is to report the news, is it her responsibility to protect R. Kelly's privacy?
If you have reason to believe that this information is ill-gotten,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, sources. I mean, how is a reporter supposed to differentiate between ill-gotten and
Right.
gotten?
What about confidential informant?
They're not
Confident and-
publishing.
I
She's
mean,
not the police.
there's somebody who has access to the
Well,
information.
reporters have confidential people that they use to report stuff on that wouldn't have been exposed.
Yeah, aren't they called like
Confidential informant.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
a tip from somebody. You're not even supposed to reveal who the tip came from.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
But the point that she's is that the information is private and it was detailed, including prison visitor logs and things like that. I think it's okay for you to say, to write about a particular topic, but when you start publishing specific information, then go ahead. I think that's where the problem is.
Is there an expectation? Is there an expectation of privacy as it relates to the jail calls or things of that nature, of the jail video calls, when you have that disclaimer that those jail calls are being recorded
but not released? There's no disclaimer.
And that's what I'm trying to levy, is the fact that, okay, fine, the expectation of privacy as it relates to that yes, there is expectations, like, law enforcement can acquire those specific calls or whatever, but I guess as it relates to the reporter getting it, because I'm even thinking like an open records request, why would that even occur? So I'm just kind of throwing things out there.
I kind of get like where, what all of you are saying, because I even question it as well, or as how much culpability, I guess it is, of Tasha K. Because
she knew what she was doing, though.
Right, no, but because even, what did they say? Was it the district attorney or whoever? They were like, they weren't even going to
prosecute, move forward with.
To move forward. So there has to be something, not enough, I guess, or whatever, with respect to Tasha K and this particular woman, that they wouldn't have gone forward. You see what I'm saying?
If they prosecute Tasha K, they would also have the responsibility of prosecuting those people where she got the information from, who work for the government.
Well, yeah, the government, that's not in question. Of course, the PO officers or whoever they were, if it's against the law, they are of course at fault. But as far as Tasha K, I have no idea what the law says about her doing that. Two separate
It's sort of
things.
like, what is that? What is it called? Like when and you correct me, like third party, what is it called?
Third party
theft by receiving, sort of like theft by receiving.
Yeah, well, the complaint did say, I think the cause of action was conversion, which is the civil version of theft. So the theft of his personal information, and then the financial gain that she's deriving, both the officer and the Tasha K.
From her YouTube.
Yes. It's for the officers, it's like if you go into the hospital, right? And you're whatever, and one of the employees access your medical records for no apparent reason, or for no authorized reason, and then sells that to like TMZ.
That happens every day.
Yep.
It happens every day to celebrities. And
that's unfortunate.
I don't understand why Tasha K is getting, I do suspect it's because, Cardi B successfully sued her and got $4 million judgment against her for, the things that she reported that Cardi B was able to prove were lies, were not true, and that Tasha knew they were lies. I feel like there's a little bit of a jumping on the bandwagon.
But is it is the difference in this the truth and the lies, or the truth and the truth? And you just mad because what you expose is the truth, and it's making my life, which is already messed up,
Right.
worse.
Right. And I do think it was BS for him to act like, oh, only because it's expose that my money got seized from this such a thing. It probably would have been seized anyway if it was obtained illegally. Like, shoot, that's something real funds.
Yeah, he had $25,000 on his books to spend, and he felt, and when it got published and the feds found out about it, they seized it and paid that to the victims. I think that should be noted. But you know, our girl Tasha seems to be getting in some more hot water.
Mm-hmm.
The Smiths.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you got a
yeah.
chance to see that real horrible, gross video of Tasha interviewing Will Smith's supposed friend and former assistant.
Yeah.
I think he called himself Brother Bird Bernal or something.
Allow, I think it's pronounced. Or...
Yeah, well,
straight up. Who needs enemies when you got friends like this? Straight up.
Okay, so
right, that's crazy.
Entourage, you guys have to go look the video up of the interview with Tasha K. I think even she was a little disgusted, or at least
she was very. She had to take pauses several times
because he accuses Will Smith of, you know, it's just not something a friend would do. So basically, him having sex with his good friend Dwayne.
Yeah.
He claims that he walked in on them in the act.
And he was very explicit in that too.
Very explicit, and talked about Will's
size of his penis.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, how do you know the size, dude? If you allegedly ain't sorry, that was trash.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Down and dirty. Okay. Well, Miss Smith, Jada, came out on The Breakfast Club. I think it was. And so this was a disgruntled employee, basically, who tried to shake them down for some money that he said Will owed him. Will offered to give him a sum. He didn't like the sum. He was trying to extort them for more. It didn't work. They didn't go for it. So this is the revenge plot. And Jada has indicated that the Smiths will be suing. Now, she was not explicit about exactly what the suit would involve and who it would be levied against, but there is some suggestion that Tasha K might find herself a defendant in the case too.
I think Jada have more of a case against the man than Tasha K for this one.
I was gonna say,
the expectation that he was going to say such stuff, that's kind of messed up. She might have had an idea. That's like saying, okay, well, on Trees, we're going to talk about the birds and the bees. And you say, girl, I spoke to Cardi B and I spoke to such and such. And you start telling my expectation that you was going to talk about that when we're talking about something else. I don't know what came out your mouth might not have been the trajectory of our conversation, might have went to the left based on my question on the right.
So was it a live show?
However, she made it public. She made it public.
Yeah.
Was it taped live or was it after? It was not taped live.
It does not matter, people. Tasha K is not at any fault here.
Right, because she didn't say this stuff. He did.
She's an interviewer. She's talking to somebody.
Right.
Period.
I agree.
No, I agree. I was just curious if it was taped live. She had a choice. I mean, not that she should be sued or not, but she had a choice not to. But you got that juicy.
You guys just mentioned about being a reporter, right? Getting the information, right?
Thank you.
I think this is what I think people think about Tasha K, is that I believe she knew what was going to get said. I don't think that man could get on her show unless
there had to have been a reason. There was a
level of expectation.
Is she claiming she didn't know what he was going to say?
No, she does. No, she knows.
She probably didn't know the extent.
Listen to the question. Was she claiming that she didn't know? Is that her claim?
Not claim that.
So what are we talking about? Whether she knew or didn't know?
Anybody familiar with Tasha K's content knows this is what she loves to do. She loves to bring people on that are going to say the craziest, most wackadoo thing about someone famous that can be imagined.
Yep.
My question is, because there was a reference, shout out to Kempire, who made this point, because I was watching his video earlier today, that in the original Cardi B lawsuit, she did have people come on to say some of the things about Cardi B. It wasn't just her sitting there just saying these things.
But she wasn't convicted of that.
She had people say it on her show.
She wasn't convicted of that.
Cardi B's claim was she knew these were lies. She knew that she was bringing people on to tell lies about me. And so that's the suggestion here. It's like, did she know? Like, did she vet? Like, is she vetting these people to know if these things are true before she gives them a platform as large?
I don't think she is, because she's too much into loving all this limelight. Like, even after being sued, she still be doing stuff that's crazy.
Well, I mean, this is just like, you know, those how do you call those magazines? Like I don't know, those
Confessions.
Yes, exactly. Like, come on, they were doing that same kind of thing. This is just now a video platform, but it was that same kind of thing back in the day when people read magazines.
Right. So let me ask you, do you think he got paid for this interview? Like, why would you go on this her type of platform? It's not like it was TMZ. TMZ, I think, pays people. I don't know, but I feel like
Butthurt. Who cares? He's butthurt.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't think she's got any money yet accumulated to pay
She
anybody.
got no money.
She's still trying to pay Cardi.
Yeah. So I do think it's crazy that she had him come on there with no receipts to provide. Like, I didn't watch the full thing. I just watched her little clip. But
I think you forget she's in a business to make money. What does she care?
Yes, but even journalists have to have some standard and not be reckless with the information that they're trying to extract and put out there. You have to have some due diligence.
Cooperation and due diligence.
You don't have to. She doesn't work for a publication that cares about that. She works for herself. She just
that's kind of what I equate to, like the Inquirer type magazines when they were putting space babies and you know, that type of stuff.
She's not working for some great publication with a wonderful reputation.
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't even call her a reporter.
No, she's not a
no.
Content creators that do what she does then, because she does interview people and she does spread the news.
Is it
so
news?
The gossip monger.
Is it news? Like
tomato.
Right.
Well, Entourage, what do you think? Jump down in the comments and let us know. Is Tasha just doing the people's work? Or should she slow down and start, you know, doing more investigating and vetting some of these stories that she's putting out? What do you think? And if you like the video, why not just hit that like button? And if you really like the video, why not subscribe? So you can find out every week when we drop our latest spilling of the tea. So as for tonight, we are out. Have a great evening. Cheers.
Cheers.